What's going on, guys? So I am in the F450. Wanted to give you guys a quick update on a product that was sent to me for review and evaluation about 5 months ago. Those would be the Continental HD3 tires that I have on my F450 truck. These are the commercial medium-duty tires that come standard on new F450s and replace the HSR tires that Continental put on the older F450s. So my truck, being a 2017 model, had the HSRs on it and wasn't a big fan of them. However, I swapped and went to 2 other brands of tires before going back to Continental, and I want to give you guys a quick update on how these have been performing for the last 5,000 miles. So hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, before we get out and take a look at the tires from the outside, I wanted to talk to you about the driving impressions, because sometimes how you feel in terms of comfort, how you feel in terms of road noise, in terms of how the tire's performing may look a little different or feel a little different than how the tire actually looks. I can't give you any huge update in terms of a difference between the last 2,000 mile review that I did, but what I can tell you about these tires, they still roll incredibly smooth. They're still very quiet, and even in conditions like this where it's pretty nasty outside, they hold traction really well. Now, the only area these things have somewhat struggled in is when you're going over anything that is what I would consider mild to extreme off-road. For instance, if you're going to be driving on a surface that is really loose sand, loose gravel, or mud, these tires aren't going to be the best for that, and they're not really designed to be. These tires are designed to primarily be an over-the-road tire with moderate traction in mild conditions. What I mean by that is if it's snowing outside, if it is really wet outside, if you are driving over hard packed surfaces or even dirt caliche roads, things like that, these tires, I believe, are going to work out really well for you. They do really well in terms of traction compared to my HSRs. If I had to rank my HSRs like a 4 out of 10 in terms of traction, I would definitely give these more like a 6.5 or 7 in terms of overall traction and performance. Now, what I can really vouch for with these tires is that I feel much more confident when it's raining outside. In conditions that might normally be really slippery with my older tires, these tires give you much more confidence when driving through it. So I can only say good things about them in terms of that. Price-wise, they are a relatively pricey tire. There are different places you can buy it, so I'm not going to go over pricing right now. But I am happy with the overall performance in terms of how quiet they are, how smooth they are, the traction that they provide, so long as I'm not on, again, really loose sand or under really muddy conditions. I can't really comment on how they perform in snow because I don't live in a snowy area, and I can't comment on how they perform on ice because, again, that's a condition that I just don't experience down here. But for everyday usage, I've been really pleased with the overall performance. To me, they're a great tire, and they've been holding up really well. They don't feel like they have been wearing like my older tires, but more importantly, they don't feel like they've become a rougher tire or a tire that invokes more of like a shake or wobble when I drive. All right, guys, so it's a little wet out here, but what I want to show you is just how evenly the tires are wearing. They have really performed above my expectations overall in terms of wear, the tread wear itself. I don't see any of that wavy pattern that I got on the Firestone tires or the Toyos. Let's look at the front tire. You can also see the front tire again, perfectly smooth, no uneven wear. Overall, these have been very good tires. In terms of road handling, when it's wet outside, they perform extremely well. In terms of noise, they're very quiet, and these have to be the most balanced out tires I've ever had on the truck. I do have the Centromatic balancing rings, but I've also used those with the other 2 set of tires I had, and in some cases they weren't able to overcome some of the imperfections of the tire. But in the case of these HD3s, they have been performing very well. And if you're wondering, these are 225/70 R19.5. These are commercial tires. These are a G load range tire, and this is now what comes stock on F450 and 550 trucks, and I believe Ram 4500 and 5500 series trucks. They still may be equipping some of the trucks with the HSR tires, but in terms of the Conti Hybrid HD3, I got to give these things a big thumbs up. Now, let's talk about different conditions. Sand, mud, snow, ice. Snow and ice I really can't comment on. I don't have a lot of experience. I'm sure other people do. But as far as sand and mud, not the greatest. In terms of mild off-road, if you're going to be over gravel, caliche, things like that, pretty good. If you are talking about normal driving, street driving, and traction you might need when it's wet outside, raining like it is today, these have been very good. So I anticipate they'd probably perform well in other conditions simply because of just the sheer amount of tread. These have very deep tread, very aggressive tread where it needs it, but then it has that siping where you might need more tread in snow and ice. But I'll let people who drive through those conditions comment. Overall, guys, got to give them a thumbs up. I'll put a link in the description of this video if you're interested in learning more about these tires. I want to give a big shout out to Continental for providing these tires for honest review and evaluation. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.